and we're here to talk about disabilities. So, I might talk about a couple of little things that I got today from Amazon, which are making my life a lot easier. Check out this little thing. I can get it. Whoops. Here we go. Now, I don't know if you can see, this is a little bag which has they make them for children. It's a little play mat, and this is 18 inches across. I got one of the little cheap ones, and I had trouble finding a color I liked. A lot of them are really awful colors. This is bright, and I love it because magenta and blue are one of my favorite color combinations, and that way I can put all the stuff that it's called a lay and go. I hope you can see that well. Let's see. Yeah, let me get it so that, tell you what, let me take the little thing out. Now, this is one of the cheaper ones. It's probably like a Chinese knockoff the original product, but it has this little tray, and when you're done with it, it has a drawstring, and you just do that. So let me see if I can get that. Yeah, there's a code for it, QR code, so you can hopefully, if I can hold it steady enough. There. All right, so basically, that is what it is. And when you're done with all of your little things, I've got my, I got YubiKeys today. So this is another thing that I hope will make my life easier. It's a little key that and I've got it in my little thing here. And that's why I'm late tonight, because I was setting this turkey up. Now, because most of what I've got has a regular USB-A port, I got this kind, and it has a little touch thing right here. So it's very easy to set up. I use Google Chrome, and this is really easy to set up with Google Chrome. You can also get the Google Titan. I was kind of torn between the YubiKey and the Google Titan, but I really like this thing. I was setting it up before my live stream tonight. So basically, when I need to authenticate a password, now this will only store, I think, 32 passwords. I use an awful lot more than that. So the accounts I use most often, I'll be able to just plug this baby in, and I won't have to remember a whole bunch of passwords. And I do have a password manager that I'm trying to get it set up with. I'm not so sure how that's going, but suffice it to say, and I've got this little thing I got from Amazon, which has a little basket for a little net for small things. So I've got things in here like my, I've got both YubiKeys in here. I put one thing I always do when I get little things, they did not come with the key ring. I usually keep extra key rings so that when I get something little like this, I can put a key ring on it. And it makes it easier for me not to drop it, because I tend to drop things. So that's one thing I do to make my life easier. And another thing is this little thing, because I've got some little, I've got an adapter here for headphones to make them It's got an end for the little bitty tiny one that you used to have. Now they're pretty standard with the 3.5 millimeter, but this takes the 2.5 millimeter end. So if I've got something I want to convert, I've got that. I've got this little widget, which has a USB-C on one end and a USB-A female port on the other. So I've got that handy, and I've got this little thing, which is a USB-A to little power port. So I can use that. So, and I've also got this for my Apple Pen. That is the cap for it. So all these little things that I tend to lose, I've got a place for them so I don't lose them. So if you've got a lot of little things that you need handy, this little bag was not expensive from Amazon at all. I think it was $2.50 or something. So definitely that's something that makes my life easier. And I also got a couple of more 64 gigabyte memory sticks. I use these a lot if I just want to grab a directory's worth of files and put it on another hard drive. It's a lot of times easier to do this than risk dropping the hard drive, which I don't want to do. You drop a hard drive, you've lost your $100 or however many dollar hard drives and the data, which is worse. So you'll notice that I immediately took these. I got them today and I immediately put a key ring on them. I also have some of these aviation wire key rings, which are really useful because then I can color code with them. So this is the green drive and this is the red drive. So now I have a way to tell them apart because they're identical. These are Kingston drives. I usually get whatever good brand I can that's cheap. And today, when I ordered it a couple of days ago, these were the cheapest 64 gig drives. So anyway, and these are what those aviation key rings look like. I got a pack of them from Amazon that are, let's see if I can hold this up so you can see. There. So they come in 3 lengths in this pack, and they come in 4 colors: black, yellow, blue and green, and wait a minute, black, yellow, blue, green, and red. So that's 5 colors. You'll notice there are no blue ones in here. My daughter's favorite color is blue, so I always give her all the blue ones, and I keep the rest. So that's what I've been playing with. And this little thing is so nice because it keeps everything, including the cat toys that we got today. I want to always keep cat toys where I can grab them quickly. So I've got a couple of them. And that way I can just drawstring this up, and it has a handle on this, let's see, on this side. So I can grab the drawstring and just draw it up. And all of this, if I keep it in there, I have a hard time sometimes, but anyway, you can just draw it up into a little bag. Isn't that cool? So, that's one way I'm handling being in bed all the time. I'm always on the lookout for little things like this where I can have things to help me do things right here. And the 18-inch size is perfect, although I might eventually want to get one of the nice big ones for larger projects. But this is just very neat to be able to contain all these little things that fall off my lap. So I wanted to show you that because I'm always on the lookout for disability equipment that helps with whatever we're needing to do. And if you've got an elderly person who's in bed most of the time, or maybe they can't get up without a lot of help, it's nice to have something handy like this so they can do little crafts while they're in bed, or I can sort out my electronics while I'm doing my YubiKey stuff. And it was very handy to put those two little drives on my, have that in a contained area so it's not slipping up under me and I'm having to go, where did that go? So definitely it helps to have some little things around you that you can reach easily, that you can contain whatever you're working with. So I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this little thing, and it's just neat. It's just really it feels pretty sturdy. It feels like it's well made. I don't see any loose threads. It looks like it's sewn well. I think this will last me a very long time. So I don't usually do product reviews, but this is an occasion. This Lay and Go is really going to be a good friend to me. So I thought I would let you know a couple of my little techniques for making sure I don't. And this came out and I didn't want it to, so I'm going to put it back in. This is my other YubiKey. They suggest when you go to YubiKeys that you definitely have two, and I definitely see the logic in that, so I did get two. It was awfully expensive, but it's going to help me a lot with trying to deal with passwords because I can never remember them. So making sure my YubiKeys are put up where they belong now. And there they are in their little holder. So I don't know how they slipped out of there while I was zipping it up, but thanks to this, they didn't go anywhere and I was able to find them easily. I'm constantly dropping things off the bed and having to say, Maggie, I dropped something, and it interrupts her, and it's just nice to be able to contain things where I can find them. And this is how I'm handling the rest of the cat toy. I got a cat dancer, which is just basically a wire that you have two ends on. It's a very simple toy. It's a $3 toy. It's not an expensive item at all. Here's the one end. That's the business end that you play with the cat with. And this is the end you hold on to. And it's just a wire. And they love it. They go nuts over it. So I've got this slipped through the little handle on the side. And I can just put it in there. Now the other one is a fishing pole type of thing. I looked at several kinds and I noticed that the handle is usually what breaks on these. So I thought the flexible wire kind was better than the telescoping kind, even though the telescoping is convenient. And then you've got this end that you can hook things onto. So we have these little ends with feathers. The cats love them. And I wanted this so that I could keep some cat toys handy, because usually to keep them from dragging them off, we put them in one of the drawers of the cabinet back there, the my daughter's dresser drawers. But this is a much better way to do it, I think, and I really think I'm going to like it. So I've got the handle down here threaded through this handle, and then I just take these two, bend them a little bit carefully so I don't damage them, and then slip them in the bag. And it's a little hard for me to do, but this is how I am keeping them from getting in my way while I'm working with other things. So now I've got, once they expand, the bag is on and it's going to stay, and then I can just lay that down and put other things on top. And I got me a multi-wire today that has a lot of different heads on it for charging various devices. We are electronics nuts in this household, so you can see. So now I can just slide this over to the side and I won't lose anything. It's just so nice. I am definitely liking this. So it's been a long time since I got a piece of disability equipment. Of course, this you're going to find in Amazon under toys and games and bags with play mats. So if you look up bag with play mat, that's where you find that. But oh, it's making my life a lot easier already. And I've only had it out for like an hour, well, maybe 3 hours. I've already not lost a bunch of things that I thought I was going to lose. So, let's talk about other ways to make disabled life easier. So, let's look. I guess since I've started talking about disability equipment, I'm not seeing any questions in my chat. Let's see who's here. Academy Impossible is here again. Hi. And Giabc. GABC. Hi. Hi, G. Good to see you. So, or GABC. Maybe that's G because it's GIABC. Welcome. Welcome. If y'all want to ask questions or comment, you may. And if you just want to lurk, that's fine with me. Anything folks want to do is fine. So let's talk more about disability equipment. Let's look, and technically anything can be disability equipment. I'm going to go to my other scene so that way you can see what I'm looking at on the internet. And I'm going to type in disability equipment and see what we come up with. And there's lots of stuff, from adjustable shower chairs, stair climbers for aluminum hand trucks. Wow, I didn't know they made those. Easy stand, sit to stand stander. Interesting. I've never heard of things like that. The DB method, compact folding shower seat. So if you're traveling, you can take that with you. And that's a nice grab bar. I wonder if how you put that in. Does that just have suction cups or do you drill into the wall? Let's see. That looks like it's attached into the studs of the wall. So let's see what they if they have, and they have all sorts of grab bars. There are any number of types of grab bars, but if you are looking for something that you can like move around from bathroom to bathroom, there are other things. I'm not recommending this website, but I was just curious. I just wanted to see that. And AirHawk wheelchair versus Fold and Go. So, okay. That's cool. It folds up really tiny. That's neat. 41 pounds. And it's a power chair? Oh, that is neat. That is neat. I wonder how long it's powered for, though, because the batteries would have to be very, very tiny. Um, that is really neat. 2 high-performance hub motors. Wow, this is amazing. So, you never know what you're gonna find when you look on the internet. Wow, and it includes a nylon cover. I think that's really important, depending on how sturdy it is, But, oh, and it comes in pink. Oh, boy, that's neat. That is neat. So, okay, you never know what you're gonna find. I'm gonna put that in my, disability folder, because that is neat. I'm gonna look at that later. So, all sorts of stuff. And, of course, it's gonna say what disability equipment stores, it's gonna be home health care stores are near me, and Amazon mobility aids and equipment. Let's have a look on Amazon. I love to look because they have all sorts of things. So here's an upright walker and rollator with seat and armrests. Hands-free crutch, knee crutch. Now I think that is neat because the standard crutches, you don't think about that, but if you're on crutches, your underarms get so sore and your wrists get so sore, and it's really hard to take that weight on your arms. So a knee crutch or a rolling knee crutch, I would think the rolling one would be best, but a lot of doctors are prescribing those now for people with broken legs or a broken ankle while they're healing. So here's a heavy duty rollator walker. And oh yeah, these things are wonderful. Um, you keep it in your car, and there's a little thing in the door latch that you can put it into, and it's an automatic handle. I keep one of those in my car. So, yeah, things like that are really handy if you just need a little assist getting out of the car. Tray table. Oh, that looks cool. And seat cushions, you can get various kinds of seat cushions to help make your wheelchair more comfortable. And all sorts of stuff. I've got a rollator. Now, what really is weird to me is that if you want a rollator walker, Medicaid doesn't cover it. I had to buy mine at the drugstore, which it wasn't a terrible expense. It was about $125, but still, the fact that I couldn't get one from, they would give me the standard kind of walker without wheels and without a seat. But really, I can't stand up for long. I need to be able to sit down occasionally. And if I didn't have the rollator, I would not be walking as much. So definitely. And gait belts, in case you're not familiar with them, they go around you and they provide handles. So, like when you're in physical therapy, if you're swaying to the side, then the person, the therapist can grab the handle or keep a hand on the handle to keep you upright. Because if you're just beginning to sway, it's very easy to pull someone back upright. If you are too far, good luck, Charlie, you're going to hurt your back trying to keep them from falling. So, gait belts are very good things. Um, Portable chair assist to help you get up from a chair. That's a neat thing. And you could carry it with you if you're having trouble getting up. So, there are all sorts of things available. And a lot of toilet seats also are shower chairs, so they double as both. So when you get, um, like in my bathroom, I have a toilet seat that raises it up. It's got the handles like these here, and it has a seat like that. And then it has, if I wanted to use it for a bedside commode, then it's got the little bucket that goes in it. So, and it can also be used for a shower chair. I have a separate shower chair because I don't like for my whoever's taking care of me to have to go to the hassle of moving it. But if you're not bothered by that, my daughter also is disabled. She has a bad knee. So it is easier for her if I just have a shower chair that she doesn't have to move. And then grabbers and reachers, these things are wonderful. I've got mine here. This one, let me get back on the over here and make this bigger. Okay, this is my reacher. There's the handle, and on the other side is the part that grabs. Now, these will only grab like 5 pounds. You cannot pick up, really, 5 pounds is stretching it. I can't get something 5 pounds up off the floor with this. So they are rather flimsy. Do not let your children play with these. I've heard from people whose relatives came over and played with their disability equipment and broke it, and they didn't replace it, which I think is horrible. This is a folding one. I can pull it apart and it's half as long, but I don't like this kind as much because it's not as sturdy. So just beware, if you buy a folding one, that convenience does make it not quite as strong when you're trying to, and here, there. I got it put back together and it works. This also has a magnet on the end, and that helps because sometimes if you drop a screw or if you drop something, an ink pen that has a steel part on it, then you can pick it up with that. So it's very nice to be able to pick up small objects that are steel or nickel. If they are aluminum, you're out of luck. And this is aluminum, so it's not magnetic. So you can't like stick magnets on it. But it's lighter weight, and that's why aluminum is very desirable, especially I've got an aluminum ramp. I love it because it's no maintenance. Now, eventually, these steel screws and the nuts and bolts in it will rust, but they're off the shelf. I can go to any Lowe's, Home Depot, any hardware store and replace those. So that's not a big issue. Um, the big issue is replacing it. I'd probably have to give a holler out to my church and say, hey, could you send somebody who could replace these bolts for me? But I haven't gotten to that point yet, and I've had this ramp since 2015. So it's still going strong. I have not had any issues with bolts rusting to the point that I needed to replace them. So definitely, but that's the reacher. I'll put it back down. The reacher comes in very handy so I can pick up things like I can pick up my hand foam, sanitizing foam, and I can put it back. I can grab various things. Oh, so anyway, I can grab a piece of paper that falls. It's difficult. It may take me 10-15 minutes to do it because it's a matter of grabbing the paper so that it bends enough that you can grab it. And it may wrinkle it. So it's, it has its uses, but it's a very nice thing to have when you can't bend over and pick something up off the floor. So, what other disability equipment do I have? Well, I'm in a hospital bed. Unfortunately, this hospital bed was given to me, so it is a broken hospital bed. I can raise and lower the feet electrically just fine. I have trouble with the head. So right now we've just got a bunch of pillows stuffed up under the frame of it, holding it up, which is not holding me upright. So definitely it's not, women don't want to be all the way upright. Men can handle that position. We women cannot. So for the most part, you want to be able to have a head that raises and lowers so that if you're uncomfortable sitting too upright, you can lean it back a little bit. But I can't do that because mine is broken. And Medicaid won't replace it. It seems like nowadays you just about have to be dying to get disability equipment. And that's Medicaid for you. We do not have expanded Medicaid in Georgia. So I have what I have. But there is bunches of different disability equipment. There are wheelchairs, there are manual wheelchairs and electric wheelchairs. There is a stand assist for out, folding cane seat for those who use canes. It's really nice to be able to sit down, and it's nice to have something to help you get up too, because sofas can be a trap. You know, um, there have been people I've visited that I had to have two strong guys help me stand up because I couldn't stand up after I sat down because of the height of it. And this Liberty Lift 15-inch standing aid, how does that work? Let's see what that looks like in action. Lift up anyone with ease. Oh, okay. So, that just makes a seat to slip under somebody so two people can lift them up, or so they can Oh, so they can hold on to it and you can pull them up. Oh, that's neat. That's neat. Okay, cool. That's a neat thing. So there's all sorts of things that you can get to help you if you've got somebody at home and they can't move themselves very well. A lot of elderly people have strokes and maybe one side of their body is just dead. So there are all sorts of things that you can help them to help themselves or help you not to hurt your back when you're helping them. And it's very important to be careful about that. Oh, this progressive mobility aid walker, that is neat for going up and down steps. I can't do steps, but if you could do steps, that would be wonderful. Um, if you are caregiving someone who is bedridden and can't get up without a lot of help, be careful not to hurt your back. You need to listen to their medical people when they tell you a certain way to lift a person because that is for your protection. So many care aides get bad backs. And the reason they get bad backs is because maybe the family insists that she's got to be moved this way, and maybe that way is very harmful to the person's back. Don't ask your care aide to lift in a way she's uncomfortable with. Care aides are trained to lift the way that it does not hurt their back, and a lot of them get back injuries anyway. So please think about that when you've got somebody who's taking care of your loved one. Learn from them how to do the lifting because and if you can get a Hoyer lift, if the doctor thinks that the person needs one, please somehow make room for it. It's just so important that people's backs don't get hurt. This is one reason I'm very excited about home health robots because they are trying to make them that are safe to lift people so that care aides don't have the back injuries that they have. So I'm very excited to watch the how that is going. So there's all sorts of things that you can get to help you. Like this little thing is if you've got a high shelf that you can't quite reach, and if you are sturdy enough getting up on one leg. I'm not very sturdy, but and floor, this floor mat and cordless alarm. If you've got somebody with dementia that you're taking care of and you want to know when they get up because they might wander off, this mat with the alarm is a wonderful thing to have so that you will be woken up if they get out of bed. So, and gate belts come in all different colors and things. I love the rainbow ones. I've got a rainbow one and I really love it. It was given to me by someone else that passed. The relative gave it to me and I was very grateful to have it. So, forearm crutches. Um, this looks like a different kind than the one I had. I had a pair of elbow crutches, and again, I had to buy them myself because I didn't have Medicaid. That was before I got my disability. So, forearm crutches definitely helped me a lot. It took the strain off of my wrists. So, when the cane just wasn't doing it anymore, I went to forearm crutches. I probably would have liked that better than the kind I had. The kind I had was more upright. That looks really neat. And there's a lifting cushion that you can put in any chair. as long as the chair's sturdy enough. So all sorts of mobility aids, just all sorts of them. Rollators and other things. One thing about your walker, if your walker has wheels, you do not want to be pushing people around in that, and the directions will tell you that you should not do that because it will wear it out a lot quicker and you'll be buying another one soon. You don't want to, if you've got a wheelchair, you do not want to take your grandchildren on your lap and go riding. It's dangerous for them, it's dangerous for you, and it will make your chair not last as long. So there are things to know. And shoe helper, oh, I could use one of those because I often have trouble. I can slip on my tennis shoes. Let's see if I can grab one, and I'll show you another thing that I've done for my shoes. So let's go back over here, and I'll check the chat. I don't see anything. Yeah. Oh, I've been on Amazon and I didn't put it on the other one. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's see. Let me grab a shoe. All right. Oh, here's one of my shoes. One of the nice things about not walking much is see the thread on these shoes? I don't use them much, so my shoes last for years. They used to last 6 months, and it didn't matter whether they were Adidas or the cheapest thing Walmart had. But these, my daughter gave them to me when they were too narrow for her wide feet. And so she wears a 10 because she's got flat feet and she needs a little more width there. And these are 9s and they fit me just fine. Now, these shoelaces, they're stretchy. They pop into the eyelets, and as you can see, they are, let's see, let me go down here, and maybe I can show you the inside. They're kind of, yeah, if I show you this, they're kind of, if I can get that where it shows, each one of these pops into the eye of the shoe. So they are silicone, and you get so many sets. And then all I've got to do is just make sure the tongue is pulled out, shove my foot in there, and I can get my shoes on. But this part always goes in like that. So it makes it really difficult for me to get the shoe all the way on. So if I had a long-handled shoehorn, that would help me get them on. I just never think about it. So now I'm going to go to this screen and we can look at this page I was looking at. So all these different things. The stand assist, definitely. I need to have one of those that I can take with me. Now that's a cheaper one, and that looks like it would be better. I could use that to get myself out of bed, because one of the other problems with my hospital bed is the guardrail broke off. So it would be nice to have that to help me stand up. And then there's half steps, So if you've got steps, if you could put half steps on them to help you, that might help somebody who can't handle a whole step, but maybe they can do a half step. And for rollators, this is the kind of walker Medicaid will get for you. It may have wheels on the front, but it does not have a seat. So it's just for walking. It's not for walking any distance. So there's a knee walker that crutch alternative. Let's see how you're supposed to use that. Okay, it's got, let me move that up a little bit. And that's how it works. So you can paddle yourself along with the other foot. That's how that works. Well, that's cool. So another crutch alternative kind of thing. So that's neat. If I had to be on crutches, well, of course, I wouldn't be on crutches because I've got a wheelchair. I've got a manual wheelchair, but this would be nice to rent if you were just using it for a short time. Say you had knee surgery or you broke your leg or something, that's an option you could ask your doctor about. So definitely, there are so many different things to help you. And there's a foldable cane. And canes, you can get canes with 4 tips, you can get canes with 1 tip, although the tips are awfully expensive. I don't know why. It doesn't seem like it would be, you can almost buy a new cane for what you can get the tip for. Weird. And leg lifter. So that would be a good tool if you have trouble just lifting your legs, then you could use that to get your legs positioned on your wheelchair or whatever. So depending on what you needed. And for arm crutches, there are various kinds of pads, and I have not tried any of these, so I don't know how. They're probably a big improvement over just normal crutches. So you can get things that you can add to your equipment. You can add to your crutches or your cane. That would probably also fit a cane to make it more comfortable, because I found when I was using a cane, the handle part was just killing this part of my hand. So a lot of bicycle equipment fits wheelchairs and maybe crutches. Those gel grips for bicycles, I put them on my wheelchair so that my care aide would have an easier time with the handles. So there's lots of things that are made for bicycles that you can put on your manual chair. You can also get mirrors if it's easier for you to run your manual wheelchair backwards, like it is for me. I could get a mirror to put on it. I haven't yet because it's kind of hard to deal with stuff like that when you're folding up the wheelchair and putting it in the back of the car. But I think if I had one that was an easy off, then I could just carry it in a bag, and then I would have these accessories I could put on. Definitely would make life easier for me. So, and you can get swivel walker wheels. If you've got a walker without wheels, you can put an extra set of wheels on it. And this is no tools. It's just the the stick kind of thing. You push the button and slide it to what height it needs to be. Very nice. And I've had this kind of seat cushion. They're very comfortable. They help a lot. Um, Even if you've just got, if you're not in a wheelchair, not using a cane, but you've got back pain, sometimes a cushion like this at your chair at work can make all the difference. So consider getting yourself a nice cushion because um, whatever you're trying to do at work, if you've got lower back pain, then maybe a cushion could help make that easier. Also, you could talk to your boss about, not sitting for so long, have a walk break, sometimes just stuff like that. And definitely, if you can go for walks and stuff, it's better if you've got a back problem of any kind. So, our handle, automotive handle assistance mobility aid. Let's see how this is supposed to be used. Oh, what? That's nice. The problem is, though, now that is much better, but on the door, I would be worried about bending my door frame because a lot of cars have these aluminum frames. And if I put as much weight as I would need to have to on that, on my daughter's van doors, I think I would bend them. I would be afraid of that. But on the headrest, that's cool. That would be neat. And a lockable buckle, non-slip grip. That's really neat. So you could have it in the back seat when you're getting out. Cool. That is neat. So there's all sorts of things. All sorts of things. And of course, medical mobility scooters. Mobility scooters are great. If you don't have any trouble holding yourself up while you're riding them, I can stand it while I'm in Walmart, but I really enjoyed my power chair. I had a captain's chair. It was so nice. It really helped to be able to lean back and lean my head back and have that headrest. A captain's seat is like what you have in the driver's seat of your car. You've got the part that the headrest, and usually it's adjustable, and mine was, because they use standard car seats in these power chairs. So the thing that you got to watch about that is if you've got a friend who's leaning on the back of your chair, that will actually cause the back of your chair to break over time. Don't let your friends lean on your wheelchair because it will break it. I have had I've seen so many people that like, well, my family leans on my chair all the time and now it's broken, it won't stay upright, and it causes the person all kinds of problems. Please don't be the relative that breaks the chair. So, then there's a lift. Now, if you're in need of a Hoyer lift, oftentimes there are charity outfits near you that can supply you with disability equipment, oftentimes for free. In Atlanta, there is FODAC, FODAC.org, O-R-G. And FODAC is, it stands for Friends of Disabled Adults and Children, and it's run by a church. So if your church wants to start something like this, then maybe you could talk to FODAC about how they started and start one in your neck of the woods. But you can donate your medical equipment there, and then people can sign up for it. So it's so wonderful. I have used them a lot. I have not used them during my um I have had some needs, and I'm waiting for COVID to kind of get over before I do that. But um Goodwill also has, you know, they are a possibility for free disability equipment. So people are always giving away disability equipment because it can help someone else. So if you've got disability equipment to donate, or if you are in need of disability equipment, don't hesitate to check out thrift stores, because often if they know you're disabled, they'll either give you a heavy discount or they will give it to you for free. So it's important to let people know that, hey, I've got a disability and my Medicaid won't pay for this. And, you know, they're seeing a lot of that. They know it goes on. Um, we've just had so many budget cuts to Medicaid and so many budget cuts to programs that help people with disabilities that it's hard to get the equipment you need. And disability equipment is expensive. So, it's important to be your own advocate and get what you need. Some things you can get. Now, this is a hydraulic lift. This is what they call a Hoyer lift, I do believe. Let's see if it is. Um, this is to lift a person from the bed to the toilet, or lift them to put them in a wheelchair, and that way you don't tear up your back trying to help them transfer. So if they are totally unable to help themselves and their doctor is suggesting you really need this, and you see the price new for this one. So definitely, and unfortunately, a lot of the medications that we disabled people have to take, if you're on steroids, it makes you gain weight. So you can get horribly overweight, and it's bad on your health, and it is a struggle to get the pounds off when you can't be active. So definitely, if your relative is really, really overweight and it's because they're on steroids, please be kind to them. We're finding out so much about overweight that it is largely genetic, and your body, fat is an organ. It operates like an organ. It totally, if you try to lower your metabolism or raise your metabolism, it's very, very hard to do that because your body doesn't want you to starve. So if it detects that you're hungry, it tends to, send signals to, you need to eat. And, you know, it doesn't help you lose the weight. And weight is a huge problem among those of us who can't be really active. So there's a there's a wonderful documentary on the latest research about being overweight, and about obesity. And I encourage you to go watch it on PBS. It's free. It's not one of those that you have to have the PBS passport to watch. And it really has a lot of good information about the research they're doing. And, they're hoping someday that they'll be able to do gene editing and release us overweight people from the fat. because it's really hard to fight your body telling you, well, you're starving, you need to eat more, and you eat more and you gain weight. And it's like, oh, this is unhealthy. And how do you get out of that? Willpower is not enough, they're finding. It's not a problem of just overactive fork. It is all these hormones in your body that are telling you to eat when maybe you don't even want to eat. So, you know, think before you criticize overweight people, because a large part of that is genetic and it's very hard to overcome. So, it's not just a matter of getting in an exercise program and having enough willpower to stay away from the food. Not so easy. Not so easy. Have a little empathy for people, because obesity is, I think, a disability. I'm obese and I've been trying to lose weight for years, and it's such a struggle. So, yeah, I think obesity is another of my disabilities because of not just meds I've been on, but just the fact that it hurts to exercise a lot. And it's really hard for me to stick to an exercise routine that works for me. However, today I walked 10 times from the bedroom and the living room. Haven't been able to do that for a couple of days. So, yay. Whatever you can do, however active you can be, it's better to be active a little than active none of the time. All right, so let me go back and see if anybody has asked any questions. No? Well, let's go on. Let me um get some links here. So, mobility aids and equipment. Let's go back to the first page. So, I'll go over here, and I've got a brand new notepad file. I don't. Well, now I do. All right, today is 19 August 2021. Disability equipment. All right, so if we look at the range of disability equipment available on Amazon. So we talked about kinds of disability equipment and a little bit about what's available. So, how do I get disability equipment? Okay. Disability grant. Oh, let's see. I don't know about this. Let's see. I don't side info about them. Okay, so this was founded by a parent. Cool. Well, that's really neat. Okay, so disability grants. I'll add them. Cool. Okay. How do I get the disability equipment I need? Okay, there's one site. Alrighty. Let's go back and see what else Google tells us. Now I'm going to skip all of the medical equipment companies because they are probably going to say, oh, we can do financing. I don't recommend doing it that way. Um, even though they will help you with stuff like that, assistive equipment and technology. All right, so this is a state office. All right, so here's the one for. All right, so let's see if I can substitute the name of another state. Let's see, Tennessee, and see if, nope, doesn't work. So, no, you can't just plug in the name of your state. Sad but true. They need to have you know, there ought to be a federal law that all state websites should have the same structure. So if you're looking for something in your state, you can just substitute the name of your state and you're good to go. But not to be. Okay. All right. So now the UK has a site. So your country may have a site. Um, let me put this site on here. If you live in the UK, All right, let's go back. So I've definitely had folks from the UK on here. Um, let's see. Walmart. But, you're not, if you go to your local Walmart, Walgreens, whatever, you are probably not going to get any help from the government to buy their products. So if it's something that you can afford and you want it now and you don't want to hassle with Medicaid or Medicare, go ahead and do it. But I would suggest trying to find a place for used equipment. And that way you can, let's see, free medical equipment for disabled near me. And these are not free. Medical supply store, mobility at home, and medical supply. That is all retail stores. They don't have it for free. They'll just put it on a free thing so that you think that you're going to get it for free, but they're going to try to charge Medicaid or Medicare, but it may not be. But FODAC comes up again. Um, Goodwill helps. Let's check this out. Okay. Oh, they list states. Oh, this is wonderful. I will put this here. Yeah, free used medical equipment. All right. This is low income relief. Okay. 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 So that's cool. And let's look up Georgia and see if it has any sources I don't already know about. All right, Georgia. Babies can't wait. Ooh, that's wonderful. Disability Link. I've used them before. Disability Link is part of the network of independent living centers. Disability Link is in Decatur, Georgia. That's why I'm familiar with them. But there are others in every region of the state. So, FODAC, Walton Options for Independent Living, cool. So, yeah, I like this resource. This is good. Okay, so alrighty, let's look down here. Goodwill Home Medical. Let's see if this is a nationwide resource. Let's see. Cool. Alrighty, now that's in New Jersey, but let's see about us. Okay, this is a particular Goodwill that's doing this. Let's look up Goodwill in general. Because that's great if you live in New Jersey, but if you're not in New Jersey, let's see. Oh, AT&T has assistive devices and resources. Well, that's cool. Let's see. Charities that help with medical equipment. Let's try this. Okay. GoodNet. 7 organizations that give your old medical equipment a new home. This is neat. Okay. That's in the UK, and so it's got sources all over the world. Oh, this is nice. I like this. Wonderful. Okay. Hmm. This is really neat. All right, so I'll add GoodNet. Okay. And the nice thing about this one is it is international. All right, so we looked at Amazon. Here's sources for used disability equipment. So I'll come back over here and hey, sad chest noises, how are you? Good to see you. Do you have any questions for me? We're talking about medical equipment, but if you have questions on any aspect of disability, please put it out there and I'll try to answer it. I'll give you a minute there. I've just been looking on the internet to try to answer the question, how do I get the disability equipment I need? So I'll give you some time to think, or if you don't want to ask a question, that's fine with me too. If you just want to hang out, that's cool. So I'm not seeing anything from you, so I'm glad you're here with me. So yeah, so we'll go on. Here's a couple more resources. All right, so let me go back over here and see 5 charities that give help with medical equipment. cool. Okay, well, that's another one. I'll just do that. Yeah. All right, so I'll just put that there. And on we go. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay. Cool. All right. So let's see who's out there. We've still got Academy Impossible and GABC. Good that y'all are with me. And Sad Chest Noises, glad you're here. Okay, so let's look. Paying for senior care. Let's see what they are. Yeah, loaner equipment is good. National foundations, local non-profits, and lost limb organizations. That's cool. That's good, but it's very limited. Let's see. Okay, let's see what Pocket Sense has to say about it. All right, this is just a general article, and it's good because it covers Medicaid and Medicare. So that's generally, I'm going to put that up here. And still haven't found what I'm looking for. Let's see. Oh, FODAC and Goodwill partner. Ooh. 10 new locations for collecting it at Goodwill facilities. Oh, this is neat. Okay. Well, that's really neat. That's from 2018, but it's still good. I did not know they had this partnership. So, let's see. Let's see. I want to. Okay. Okay. I can add that to the list, but I want to find. Alrighty. I'm gonna do this. Independent Living Center. Okay. Oh, that's okay. Here we go. Okay. Okay, and the Independent Living Center directory, I'll put right there. And I'll pop that link over here. The independent living centers have helped me a lot. And if you are really low income, they will help you for free. If you are more well off, you might have to pay a fee for them to come out and like look at your home and see what hazards you've got and what you could do to make your home more disabled friendly. They also, some of the independent living centers actually have warehouses of equipment that they can loan you. Others do not, but they can tell you where to get disability equipment. For example, if you want something used that's still in good condition, there are places that repair equipment and get it ready for the next person. And you can get these oftentimes for free. So definitely look at all your options before you just go and buy new disability equipment, because most people who are handicapped like us don't have a lot of money. And anything that you can get from a charity that's in good shape is one less thing you're going to have to buy and worry about, well, how am I going to pay for this? So definitely it's important to be able to find the equipment you need. So let's see. So I've talked about independent living centers. The independent living center near me actually has a Zoom group that I can get into and talk to, and just not talk to, but group of people that I can say what's been going on, and if I've got any problems, if I've got questions, there's people there from the independent living center that I can ask. It's a wonderful service, and probably many independent living centers have these sort of things going on. So definitely the independent living center that serves your area is a great resource. And if the one near you doesn't have something you want, like maybe a Zoom group, maybe you could look elsewhere in your state and see if there is a Zoom group that you could get into. So, definitely options for all sorts of disability information and possibly social connections and things like that. So, um, I know there are our local office in Rome has programs to help people be employed. So there are all sorts of services that they offer. You just need to look on the website of your nearest one, see what services they offer, and call if you are interested in finding out more about the programs. So definitely there's all sorts of ways that we can help ourselves as disabled people. But think about things that are not necessarily labeled disability equipment, like the little thing that I showed you at the beginning. This is something that was originally thought of as a thing for kids, a playmat. But definitely I'm considering it disability equipment. So, anything can be disability equipment. If it helps you do something in your daily life, then it's disability equipment. So, thinking outside the box, if you've got a problem organizing things near enough to you so it's in arm's reach, if you're, in bed all the time like I am, or if you are traveling in a car and you want something in a bag that you can just pick up and take with you to help you, things like the little handle that you can use in your CareAid's car to lean on when you get up. Um, Anything that helps you to be more independent is a wonderful thing. And I would say it's probably a good idea to talk to your doctor if there's equipment he or she thinks you need. Ask them questions about it. Ask them, is this something I absolutely have to have? Can I put it off for a while? Or is it something that will help my health to get now rather than later? Also, you know, it's hard when if you have to carry a cane with you, that's not too inconvenient. If you have to carry a manual wheelchair around, that's very inconvenient. So be prepared for resistance from family members. If you bring a wheelchair home, then, they might think, oh, that's great, you can get around. But then if they're having to lift it in their car, maybe their car is not big enough to handle it, then the problems arise. So, also, if you've got a wheelchair that weighs 35 pounds, like I do, and you've got a family member, my daughter, with a knee problem, it's hard for her to get in and out of the vehicle. So, you can think, like, how can we make this easier? On my other van, I had a pulley system to lift the wheelchair in. I'm going to try to put that in her vehicle, and that way she can have a little assist. It's a lot easier to pull on the rope and use the pulley to do most of the lifting, and you can do pulley systems to make it even lighter weight. And if you need help doing that, maybe the independent living center can help with that, because even if your chair is heavy, think about something like a piano lift. It's complicated because it's got like 6 pulleys, but you are lifting 1/6 the weight. So a piano lift that is made for a 600-pound piano would definitely lift your power chair into the van. You just have to have attachment points that are sturdy. You would probably need advice from somebody who does maybe welding or works with cars that have been wrecked to know, how much stress you can put on certain parts of the car, where you would need to attach and things like that. But think of what a boon it would be if you could get your power chair in your car yourself, or if you have a suitcase ramp. They are heavy, but again, a pulley could help you with the weight of that, so it's not quite as much weight, and you can get it in position and roll your power chair into your van that way. So there are ways to handle disability equipment. You may need to, if you've got a small car, you might need a van, but you might not, depending on what the equipment is, how heavy it is, if you're having trouble lifting it. Um, Most portable power wheelchairs will take apart to a certain extent, but the batteries are going to be about 35 pounds of that weight. And that's divided, maybe 35 pounds apiece, might have 2 batteries. Batteries are heavy, so you are going to want to plan for that. And if you've got a bad back and you're taking care of somebody that's going to need to be transported, often in a power chair, then you need to have some way to handle that so you don't hurt yourself. So, you can talk to people at independent living centers, see if there's somebody that's run into that problem and how they solved it. You can talk to physical therapists, you can talk to occupational therapists, whoever's on your medical team. You can talk to them and say, "Hey, I've got this problem. Let me run this by you and see if you have any ideas for me." And oftentimes you could even get ideas. Now, be careful with social media. Talk to people who are experts. Don't just ask a question and whoever answers it, because sometimes you will get very bad information. You might get somebody who thinks, well, this might work, and that might be a good idea. But you don't want to just take all ideas and try them and maybe try something that's going to tear up your car, tear up your disability equipment, or hurt your back trying to do it. So talk to people who have experience with disability equipment. And the best ones are people on a medical team, physical therapists, occupational therapists, people who solve problems continually in their workday. These are the people you want to get answers from. And there are experts for just about everything on YouTube. They can't give you advice for your specific situation because um, definitely doctors and medical professionals have a um, restriction that if you don't have a doctor-patient relationship with them, they cannot give you specific advice. But it's good to ask general questions, generally for the average person with my condition, so take what you learn from YouTube with a grain of salt. Take it to your doctor and talk about it, because your doctor has the experience diagnosing people that is the missing element when there's information on the internet, because there's no substitute for your medical professional knowing you, knowing your chart, what medical conditions you have, and what they can help you do to mitigate that. So you want to make life easier for you. So don't just go to the internet and say, well, I can solve my own problem. This is particularly a problem right now because in the United States, we have no universal health care, which is stupid. It's really stupid. So you've got people, the cost of medical care is so high. When you don't have insurance, you're thinking about, well, do I really need to go? And this can be an agonizing decision because if you are going to be out of work, a lot of times your workplace requires a doctor's excuse. I was in this bind constantly of having to go to the doctor with a cold because I needed a medical excuse. And half the time I would go and they'd say, well, it's just a cold. I can't give you a medical excuse. And so I've missed a day from work and I don't have an excuse. So they're looking at me like, you fake. But you should not have to go to the doctor with a cold and ask for, you know, let me explain that, because you're probably saying, a cold? Well, that's nothing. Well, if you've got fibromyalgia, a cold feels like the flu. You might have to be out from work a week because you just can't get up. You've already got all this pain anyway, and anything that you get is 10 times worse than it would be if you were a normal person. So, yeah, I mean, most of the time with a cold, I wouldn't have to be out of work, but some viruses would just lay me flat on my back and I would be out for a week. And maybe I go to the doctor and they test me for the flu, they test me for strep throat, that's negative, but yet it's no doubt they're looking at me and they're saying, I know you feel bad, I can see it. And I will write you a doctor's excuse so you can be out from work until you can get back. And oftentimes, they would write it for like 5 days, and maybe this would go on past that, and I'd just have to drag myself into work and somehow make it through the day. We are so laser focused on attendance. Workplaces really need to recognize that 1 out of 4 people are disabled. Out of that 1 of 4, probably a large proportion have problems with contagious disease, dealing with it. It's harder for us. I have B positive blood, so does my daughter. We catch everything. We have no, it's like the immunity is there, but the army is asleep when the marauders come to the gate and start trying to break in. So the army gets started late defending. So that is a problem with just about everybody with fibromyalgia, right? Because you have constant pain and you get sick a lot. It's a lot of stress being under all that pain all the time. It never goes away. It is an awful thing to try to live with, and the fact that there's no cure, there's really no treatment, it is very frustrating. Some people are helped by chiropractors and massages, and that's great if you can afford it, but if your insurance plan doesn't cover chiropractic, you're out of luck. I think that things like that should be covered, because if something helps you make it through your week, if getting a massage one day can help you make it to work all week, then it's worthwhile. It's necessary. So, I don't understand all of this emphasis on attendance, and it's at schools too. Of course, schools get paid by the federal government by daily attendance. But I think that it encourages people to go to school and work sick, which spreads disease, which when pandemics come, we see how vulnerable we are to catching things. We need to keep some of these COVID things around so that we don't spread flu as much. A side effect from COVID and all the mask wearing and everything, we hardly had a flu season at all. Flu usually takes out a bunch of people every year. A lot of people die of mere flu. And if we had these protections in place all the time, think about how many people with respiratory chronic disabilities would be able to work longer, would be able to go to work without fear of getting pneumonia and maybe dying because their risk is higher if everybody wore a mask. I think it's so selfish of people who, well, I don't want my freedom messed with. You're not free to kill people with your diseases. I'm sorry, but that's not a freedom that we are guaranteed under the Constitution. And what might be just a cold to you might be pneumonia to somebody else. So we need these protections. We need masks. We need social distancing. We need this in place all of the time. We need to redesign our toilets so every time we flush, we're not flushing E. coli out into the ether for people to breathe and get sick from. We need to redesign our heat and air conditioning systems with UV sanitizers built in so that we're sanitizing the air as it goes through for all these airborne things, because colds and flu and viruses will always be with us, and they will always be a problem for people like me who catch everything. So just because you're able-bodied and healthy and you can work with a 102-degree fever, I don't think that that's healthy for everybody around you, because the next person might catch what you've got, get a higher fever, and either get brain damage and disability, or they might die. And that is something that all of us need to protect each other about. Wearing a mask is caring about other people catching your diseases. I would much rather keep my diseases to myself. And not that I'm going to have anything contagious at any one point in time, but I do get colds a lot. I do get viruses a lot. I get the flu every year, even with the flu shot. I don't have it as badly because I got the flu shot. Vaccines are not there to absolutely protect you so you don't get sick at all, but they are there to give you a taste of a virus that you want to protect from. Influenza kills a lot of people every year, especially influenza type A. So if you've got the shot and it protects against A, B, and C, or maybe through E and F, D, E, and F. If you've got a shot every year to protect you against those, you might get like a cold instead of the flu. It's the same virus, but it is not as severe. So it's better to have a mild case of it than to have one that's going to end you up in the hospital. And that's why we have flu shots. That's why I take the flu shot every year. That's why I take the pneumonia vaccine every few years, because I don't want to end up in the hospital. I've been in the hospital 3 times in the last 3 years. It's not pleasant. I would much rather be home. So, I haven't been in the hospital with pneumonia or anything catching. I had an appendectomy and I had a twisted bowel. So those were things that I, couldn't prevent with vaccines. But I'm saying generally, going to the hospital, no matter how nice people are to you and how helpful they are, sleeping in the hospital is not like sleeping at home. Constantly, medical people are coming in to check on you and to take your blood pressure, and it wakes you up. So you don't get good sleep in the hospital. That's just normal hospital routine, no matter what you're in there for. So, you know, if workplaces and schools treated illness seriously, made people wear masks, then you wouldn't have a lot of people like me who gets disabled at 40 instead of maybe 50 or beyond because I couldn't do the attendance requirements. We need changes, and we disabled people need to speak up and tell our legislators about what changes we would like to see because, we know about how to adapt. And adapting is the whole thing about medical equipment, is adapting to make life more normal for you. So, I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit about disability equipment, and we'll have a different topic tomorrow night. And I'll be back at 8 p.m. or hopefully not be late. And y'all take care and have a good evening. Thanks for coming to Granny's house, and I love you. Take care and don't let your disabilities get you down. And I hope I've given you some sources of where to start trying to find disability equipment to make your life easier. So take care. See you tomorrow. Good night.